Marijuana Warrior. What's up, everybody? I hope everyone's having a great start of their week. And I just wanted to make a quick video just giving you guys a little update on where we are at with the build. And as you see in the background, we're doing quite fine. You could see my ES is chopping up a lot faster than it was in the previous showcase, and that is mainly due to the swap that we did. We went doppelgangers, guys, and then the mitts. I can't remember. We'll go over the POB here in a second, but the gloves themselves make it to where I get energy shield on hit, and that's why you're seeing the ES jump up as fast as it is, giving me the 4-second max all res, 5 to max all res. So it's really nice and it's working out really well. Yesterday we streamed a little bit of leveling. We got all the way to level 97, and we have been, I mean, we pushed it as far as it could literally go. There's just nothing else, nothing much else that I could really do to put on the build to make it feel any better. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure like what else could be done. And I'm not I am sure what else can be done, and that's what the whole point of this video is. Unfortunately, I would say that the champion is just gonna have to take a back seat here, just because it's not able to effectively do what I wanted to do. Initially, we rolled champion so that we could take advantage of the Victario's influence and Hands of Frisia combination, and it's really good for that. But Poisonous Concoction really didn't work out for that skill. The POB that I had based, or that I had got the idea from, the gentleman was using dual strike of ambidextry. So it's two completely different worlds. I was on right side of the tree. I just wanted to make something work. It is what it is. However, the other build that I had it based off of, which is the Poisonous Concoction build, is an Ascendant, and they take advantage of the doppelgangers and the full setup. So my whole thought process was, if I'm going to switch from the Victario's influence and Hands of Frisia, which is the whole reason why I went champion in the first place, was to get all that aura effect stacking, it's kind of pointless. So the concept is, all right, and I came to this conclusion after pushing so hard. I mean, I'm like, every piece of gear is like, I mean, we're talking little things here and there that really, you know, at the grand scheme of things, it shouldn't be that big of a deal to feel comfortable in T17s. And that's what I'm mainly trying to say, is that the T17 is just too damn grueling for it, and I need to rework that champion to be able to actually have a proper build to do T17s with. So we're retiring the champion as far as Poisonous Concoction is concerned, and what we're going to do, since we have all the gear for Poisonous Concoction, we're just going to replicate the original POB that I wanted to replicate. Now, I apologize for the choppy footage in the back. I'm just on YouTube right now watching my old live, and that's just pretty much, you know, what it looks like for me playing the game. Like, I don't know if you guys have similar experiences, but I have to turn my settings down quite a bit, especially when it comes to poison builds, because there's so many layers of poisons. I don't know how the server tick works, but it just really bogs you down, and I noticed it incredibly so when I first got my PC built, and I was in Affliction League, and I did the Poison Tornado Shot. All the projectiles and all the poisons layering, it felt really shitty. So I had to tweak my settings, get it down to a point where I can actually play the game, and I know it looks pretty bad, and trust me, it kind of just feels like, you know, just blind playing and riding the waves of frame rates. But basically, the whole point of this is just to say that we are going to rework the champion into a completely different build, but what we're doing is we're going to level an Ascendant to match the Poisonous Concoction build that, you know, obviously we can do. We have all the pieces for, so we just need a level in Ascendant and get that going. So let's just go ahead and stop this. As you can see, you know, it's a good skill, but it's just not exactly. It's just two different archetypes that aren't really fitting together. They're not meshing well. So what I have here is the POB for the other character, which is this guy right here. That my first inspiration for using the Mecha Waddles was seeing this guy's POB. These are the gloves that I was referring to, by the way. Malachi's Mark Murder Mitts. These, I mean, you saw on the champion how effective that is at keeping that uptime for the 5 max all res. So we have every piece of gear for this except for the Mage Blood. We're not running the Mage Blood. So I'm debating whether or not to get the Mage Blood, run with it. Might as well. You know, he's got the full setup like this, but we'll just see how it feels and what we can do when we get there. But we have basically everything else. We have the Lethal Pride Timeless Jewel. We have the Perandus Pact. We do have a Natural Instinct. We do have the Forbidden Flesh, Forbidden Flame for Trickster. Buddy of mine says that this isn't required. He's doing a slightly different version. But Trickster means that we get the Energy Shield Leech, which is what I believe that this character's probably getting a lot more survivability, and maybe that would enable you to push the T-17s. I don't know, but we'll find out together. And then also, we do have the Might of the Meek, and we have a pretty decent cluster setup on our other guy as well, because, I mean, you guys have seen how that looks, so we probably will be able to drop some of our ridiculous cluster nonsense for this setup. But let's take a look here at the POB and just really appreciate what this Ascendant is doing with this Perandus Pact here. Now, if you see here, this Perandus Pact is covering a very large radius, and this Ascendant is cleverly using a Natural Instinct in this specific position here, giving them all of these points that you see that are unallocated. So let's just keep in mind this radius right here for the Perandus Pact. Just this Unnatural Instincts getting them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 maybe? 13 points ish. I don't know if I counted that right, but you can see there that's just 13 points alone from the Unnatural Instinct. And then also the clever positioning of the Might of the Meek is doubling up a lot of these effects as well. Or not doubling, but a 50% increased effect. So they're getting a butt ton of added chaos damage just from this cleverly positioned Perandus Pact. And that's just the kind of percent increases that I'm not going to be able to reach on a champion. So you see that, and I don't know, we double check, make sure this isn't like a massive trade. Ooh, 2C, woohoo. But yeah, so as you can see, just this one cluster fuck setup they got going on here is just, it's massive. I don't even know the numbers. I'm sure it's here in the POB. I really suck at POB. I'm sure everybody knows. You know, at least people that, you know, watch my videos, they know I don't POB, and we will change that. Just give me some time, all right? I got a lot on my mind. But yeah, so this is an insane cluster setup. Just, you know, anyone with half knowledge of PoE is just going to know exactly what's going on here. This is pretty juicy right off bat. And then obviously they're, you know, using the Tempered by War. They got themselves a decent cluster setup, and yeah, you know, so lots of good stuff. And they're building into max chaos res, so they're really trying to mitigate the amount of incoming damage. So as you remember from the previous video, all we're taking is fire and chaos, and I think they get, where's the res at? Yeah, they're at like 84%, and that's, I don't know if that's with the uptime calculated in the POB, but getting close to 90, that's pretty good. That is pretty dang good. And let's take a look here at I lost my train of thought. I didn't know what we were checking out. Anyway, oh yes, that's right. The the actual meat and potatoes here. What's going on? So we know what the champion was giving us. It was giving us the 30% increase aura effect, which we're not using the chest and the gloves anymore, so that kind of gets thrown out. We had fortify, you know, stun immunity. Fortify is great, but you know, really, ultimately, it's just, you know, not that great, not that synergized. Then we also had adrenaline, which is probably the best thing that we had for that character, and it was some really good damage uptime. However, when you're in a T17, you're not popping your weapon swap like that in a T17. It is just not happening, and I found myself dying quite a bit. I could, it was possible. I did run one last night, but it was just very discouraging after so much work that I put into the build, and just to barely die at the very end, 6 portaling and almost getting the boss down in a fortress or whatever the easy one is. And it was like super easy run. It had no mods on it. I put shrines, I put Nico, so it just didn't feel that good. And you know, we keep going, we re-roll. So my thought process is, let's just stick with what has proven to work, and let's see how this character feels with this whole, you know, setup that I have. So they're taking Marauder Ascendancy, and I believe they're getting, or was it? I think it's easier to read on this one because I fucking hate PoB. But yeah. So where is that? Oh, they're not taking Juggernaut, are they? How do you find out what they're taking in this? Hold on. Cringy, like watching this guy do some people. Okay, yeah, I see now. It's like highlighted. So they're taking Juggernaut. Yeah, Juggernaut's great. So that fixes our stun immunity that we had from champions. So nothing really has to change there on the tree and whatnot. So that's great. Accuracy rating is fantastic. That will feel really good because I was struggling for accuracy on the champ. So this is a very valuable node here, and they are also running Immortal Call on a automation with increased duration. So having the endurance charge uptime plus the Immortal Call with the increased duration is probably going to feel really good while mapping. Then they mosey on down over here and they take the Deadeye for obvious reasons. This is for the effect of marks and an additional projectile, I believe. Now, mark is huge on this build because we are using I believe it's Alchemist Mark. This guy is probably using Assassin's Mark because they are crit. So we will figure that as we go. They are not taking the Mark the Prey, which is what I took on the champion to make it feel better, and I got the more accuracy rating against marked enemies mastery. So with this, I believe you can just drop those and it's going to feel buttery smooth with the Deadeye. I would imagine so. So 50 or 25 increase effective marks, and damage with hits to targets, 50% increased damage. That's definitely going to feel a lot better. And then with the Forbidden Flesh, Forbidden Flame, they snag the Trickster, which is basically, if I had to guess, this is just going to be QOL, and it may just be the thing that pushes this into T17 viability. Who knows? We are out to discover, and yeah, so lots of fun to be had. But the main important thing that I think that I took away from this particular one is going to be the 2% of damage leached as energy shield, and then obviously the 2% more damage for each different type of master you have allocated. Let's just take a look over here to see how many, out of curiosity, because I'm not really 100%. That's one, that's projectile, poison, herald, flask, mana, charge, leech, life, max res, that's chaos, and then that's evasion. So that's they're all different. So yeah, they're getting great value out of Trickster Ascendancy right there. And yeah, so that's basically it. This is the tree. I'm going to link the POB into the description of this video so that you guys can take a gander of it yourself. This is, you know, I haven't touched anything. I just pulled it directly from PoE Ninja. So shout out to this guy, Zeus Killer, whoever this guy is. This guy's, you know, he's basing it off of some big brain shit, and I know they probably have some insane tech that they're working with. But the Fury Valve is, feels really good with the bouncing, and I swear by it, as far as like the single target is concerned. Fated End, interesting choice, but they're just getting a really good amount of effect from their curses. So I think they're trying to get dot cap ASAP, and that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, they're running a Bane setup with Despair and Temporal Chains, so they're getting those two curses off. So that's minus Chaos Res, and obviously Temp Chains for increased duration of ailments on enemies. Super nice. Seems like a really solid build, and playing the champion version of it, I could tell you that it definitely feels good. So I'm excited to try out the Ascendant version of it. And yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. Maybe show a little bit more footage of the live from yesterday, just to kind of help YouTube like stretch out my video, because they don't like it when I do things too short. So for anyone else to take off and not check out the last of the little footage here, go ahead. And if not, I'm just going to let it ride for just a little bit, and then I'll go ahead and end it. But thank you all so much for checking me out. And, we did hit 100 subscribers yesterday. Very excited for that. Yeah, just super cool. But we're on to the next goal. So always stay pushing, guys, and keep it cheesy. I'm out. Peace.